Well, welcome everybody to our March 22nd meeting. I know we have a lot to talk about tonight, especially because of our bylaws. So we need to get going right away. Everybody sees our mission statement, so I don't have to read it. I know that we had an email earlier today about public comment, about a public comment. Did we ever get anything, Linda?
No, he asked to speak, and
Yes.
we let him know that we're not having, during COVID, we're not having any live speakers during Zoom, and during virtual.
Okay.
And we asked him to submit something in writing and that we would read it. But Linda can let us know if he responded back.
We can talk offline. We did not hear a response. The email bounced back.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So we have no public comment this evening, that means. Okay, so first thing we are going to do, is move on to director's comments.
And if I could, before Linda, before either Linda or Troy pick up, there was just a quick clarification from last month's meeting, which was about their presentation and their actions for the recommendations from CCAC to FCPS. And it's going to be for the 2021-22 budget year. And that's how those the recommendations are addressed, just because we asked for some budget items. And that's the budget that the Board of Ed is discussing at this point. So just wanted to clear that up. Sorry. Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, and quickly before you get started, Linda and Troy, I did resend out, there were some updates from what I sent yesterday. So in the email this is Kara, that I sent earlier today, right, maybe an hour or so ago, there was an update to the director comments, and the bylaws link was included. So please make sure you have that. I'll present it as well, but make sure you have it, so you have it in front of you if you need to go back to it.
Okay. Okay, so Linda, Troy.
Great. Well, good evening, everyone. So Linda and I have a couple of updates this evening. Wanted to remind everyone about the parent involvement survey. If you haven't already, please go to ndparentsurvey.com to complete a parent survey for the Maryland Special Education Parent Involvement Survey. Feel free to send that out to anybody who has a student with a disability here in FCPS. There's also additional links that explains that further for anybody that may have questions about what that survey involves. Next up is we recently, just yesterday was World Down Syndrome Day, March 21st. So we celebrated that on Friday. Thank you for everyone who rocked their socks and celebrated that with us. Check out Twitter. If you look at hashtag WDSD at FCPS or hashtag lots of socks, you'll see a lot of different schools help celebrate World Down Syndrome Day with us. Next up is, some of you all may have already heard this, but the State Board of Education has voted to postpone state assessments until fall 2021. In the fall, it's anticipated that these assessments will be diagnostic in nature. And so the timeframes are listed there about how they will be shortened. So students on the alternate assessments also will not require administration this spring. Next up is our Challenges Renaming campaign that is available for the public now to vote for the renaming of the Challenges program. So the link is in there as well, and voting will close April 16th. And the Find Out First is there as well to look at the voting options that are available. Please get that out to everyone to vote. And last but not least, the Maryland State Department of Ed recently updated their parental rights and procedural safeguard notices, and they're now available in all languages for our parents, and they will be provided to parents digitally as we have IEP meetings throughout the remainder of this year. And that's our updates for this month.
One thing can I add about the parental rights is there's the changes that they made are making the document available in 23 different languages. They're also providing an audio copy of it for people who are visually impaired. I learned that I was at the CSAC meeting last week or 2 weeks ago and heard about that there. So if you're like me, you'd be going through the parental handbook and looking page by page to see what the changes are. And this time the changes are all in the languages that it's being made available in.
Thank you, Patty. And I just wanted to add that the link to the Maryland Parent Response Survey is in the chat, as well as the link to vote to rename the Challenges Program in the chat if you wanted to vote now or take your survey.
Okay, thank you, Linda. All right, next we'll have our Board of Ed rep, Mr. Mason.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to say thank you to Troy for coming to present last week at the Board of Education meeting about World Down Syndrome Day. I got to wear my socks on Friday afternoon, and I hope everybody else joined in celebrating some of our most special friends. And I want to say a thank you to Mr. Robert Walsh of Friends for coming and presenting the proclamation, which was voted on and passed by the board. And we appreciate that proclamation and celebrating our friends. And my final comment is just to remind everybody that Rock Creek is on schedule to be completed June of 2021. We're a couple months away from that, so I hope everybody's getting excited about our new school that's going to be opening here very, very, very soon. And that's exciting news. Thank you. Oh, sorry, I will be leaving early. I have to go speak at the county executive's budget hearing this evening around 6:50.
Thank you. All right, next we have Partners for Success. Whoa. She put it up
Sorry.
there.
This has not changed since last month. So if you saw these notes from last month, these are just our support groups, family networking events planned with links, and currently planned workshops. So they'll be in the notes as well for everyone to check out. And then future workshops that are in the works are still listed. And if anyone has any ideas or suggestions, please let me know.
Whoa.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
100%.
Really? Okay. Next, we want to hear from our subcommittees. First subcommittee is membership.
Good evening, everyone. I just have one update, but it's really to Kara. Kara, were you able to get in contact with Laura?
I have not heard back yet, but I'll follow up tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated. Thank
Yep.
you.
Are you guys planning on, I know we're pretty full. Do you want another notice to go out for next year's, or what do we want to do about that?
You mean start recruiting for next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start advertising because typically before COVID, our cutoff date was May 15th. So if we think we're going to be typical this coming year, Linda, Troy, then we do need to definitely start advertising.
Do we have the write-up from before? If we do, I can write or someone, Linda, can help me, but we can get it out via Find Out First so that goes out. And then I'm assuming like I can put it on Partners for Success, and Jeremy and the communication team could put it out on that page.
I'm sure that it is in Dee Dee's.
Okay, I can probably find it then. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll just make a note that okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it currently says May 15th, which I think right now we should at least try to stick to. Isn't that what you guys do? And then, so if we can get that out there and start getting some applicants, that'll help you guys wrap this up before summer this time. So that'd be great.
Yes, ma'am, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, I'll make a note.
And also, Dee Dee usually tells us who's up and has to reapply, or?
I can. I mean, you all have access to the same thing, but what I'll do is I'll send out this link to all of you where you can see, and I'll show it real quick. So the committee list, let me just share this tab so you all have it. And sorry, we're sharing some information, so let me block that out real quick. Sorry. Okay. So on this list that I'll share with you all directly, it's their name, when they actually began, and if they have any ending membership. So we do have a few people that are up as of this year. So you'll have that, but you do have access to it on the shared drive as well. So I'll make sure you see it. Let's back up.
Okay. And next we have the communication committee. Jeremy's not here, is he? I didn't see him on the list.
Do we have someone who could speak for our communications
Yeah, I
committee?
can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we went over the CCAC, what used to be the CCAC brochure and is now the one-page document. And we talked about it. We did make some more changes. So the next time it's going to be ready to be printed, we have some changes so that we can print a new copy. And that's really about it. That's all that we've done. Okay. Best buddies.
So I'm Laurie, and I said I would do best buddies, but to be quite honest with you, I have not done anything because I don't really know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I know a lot of people that are involved in Best Buddies, and I've reached out to them for information. I have emails from people on this committee that say they're willing to help, but I've really done nothing. I have no excuse, but that's kind of where we stand. So,
hey, Laurie, it's Kara. Let's just connect offline after this. Let's just double check the budget real quick when we get to that one, and then we can talk offline and just discuss what we want to do, and we can update it together. Sorry about that. I've also been out a little bit. We'll get it done.
okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. And the resource fair, we had the resource fair not too long ago. Anybody here from that committee can talk about it? There you are.
Yeah, I can. Hi there. Okay, so we the annual Tourist Fair did occur through a virtual platform this year. We asked people to join through a registration process that Kara had set up, and we held it throughout the week of March 8th through the 12th. And there was, I think, around 22 vendors. That number might be off because there was a couple of late ones that came in. But they prepared short videos that described the services that they offered, by their organization, their contact information. And then the videos were they were uploaded so that FCPS families could view them at their discretion throughout that week. And then Jeremy put some of the videos on the CCAC Facebook page as well. We also had the special education directors, they made a welcome video. And one of the things that I would have done a little better is the find out first message. We didn't really get around to putting that out until, the resource fair was well underway, but we did get it out. Linda Chambers helped, and so that, the community could access the welcome video, the registration link, the the CCAC site, and the videos are still available to view. If you go on to the FCPS special ed page, I believe there's they have their own channel, I believe. So
Yeah,
that's
sorry, it's echoing. That I sent out in the link, I think, to everybody. If you didn't, I'll make sure we send it out today. We should be able to get some statistics back as soon as I get unlocked from my account. So hold that thought. And actually, we may be able to pull it into CCAC. So we'll provide that as well to see how many times they've been viewed, which ones were viewed the most. We can provide some of that a little bit. And again, it was kind of our first attempt at an online, right, Desiree? So I think we can keep promoting it. We're not planning on taking anything down.
yeah.
So we should just continue sharing those resources, going forward too. And
Yeah.
we're going to regroup and do some lessons learned on what we would do differently. I mean, there's always the option we could have 2 next year if we could do one like this and one live. So we'll regroup and kind of evaluate what we thought went well and what didn't, and then plan for next year. I think it was a good first attempt. We had almost 25 people respond and participate, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wanted to add also, Desiree and Kara, your committee did a great job in the sense the chairs of other county CCACs, we talk to each other about what are you doing, how are you structured, like we share ideas. And Anne Arundel County Chair came and said, what are you guys doing about your resource fair? And so I told her what you guys had put together, and they loved the idea and thought it was fantastic and modeled their resource fair after what you guys had put together. So it was a really good option for the situation we're in. You guys did great.
Thanks. The whole
Thank
committee
you.
was amazing. Eric's staying quiet, but he contributed a ton to this. So thank you.
A lot. He did. He really did.
And Eric's saying, "Oh shucks," but he did do a good job. Okay, the next subcommittee is the CCAC retreat. And Kara, if you could just talk about what you just did.
Yeah. So a couple things, and let me pull up my notes real quick. In your gosh, I can't talk today. Sorry. In the discussion chat, there's some links, and sorry if you've been on here from the beginning. I've reposted it repeatedly over and over again. As new people come in, they don't see the old conversation. So there is a link there. It's just asking you to vote on which day works best for you. It's anonymous to everyone else. I mean, I can see it, but I'm not sharing. Basically, there's 3 dates to choose from, so we can pick a date and we can do this. If you all can vote now, we can let you know by the end of this meeting when we're going to host this. So the plan is to, if I can find my plan, the plan is to have a spring retreat. So what we were thinking is that the fall retreat was sort of what we called a mini retreat. And that was really to prepare for recommendations to the board for this year. That's why we did it then. But we also want to have a spring retreat, which talks a little bit more about kind of, how did we say this? I'm doing a little bit of like team building, group building, getting to know each other, talk about what went well and what we need to work on for next year. So some positives and some challenges there. So we have requested kind of 3 dates. There are spaces available at the shelters at Utica Park, if everyone's okay with that. And I've recommended like mid to late May for this. So hopefully, and it's under shelter, we can get together there. We can figure out if food's available or not, or if we want to ask for donations, we can get that point soon. But like a 3-hour retreat where we can just meet in a socially distanced location outside. Utica Park has good resources. All of these dates are available as of right now. And I'm going to work with Parks and Rec to see if we can get it for free. So that's also on my list. So there's the dates there if you can go ahead and vote. And then the other things that we are working with are having a workshop in probably April, but we're double checking with some presenters, what we're calling like the assessment series. So having like Julie Caulfield, who was on the committee with us, could present on like how to read a psychological report. And then we'll go to some specialists in the other areas of, how to read a speech assessment, how to read an educational assessment, both elementary and secondary, just to help all of our parents and community understand kind of what this is and what it means. I know we've all seen them and a lot of our parents do, but helping them break it down for us so that it makes more sense. So we're planning that for April. And I'll reach out and follow up with you guys on that one. And then Stephanie Knapp had reached out about an event as well that she wanted to do from an IEP perspective. I have asked her to send me like a brief summary of exactly what she would want to cover, kind of an example of what her presentation might look like, and how much time she thinks she needs. And as soon as I get that back from her, I will share that with the committee and we will pick a date and share that with you all. But those will be workshops or / presentations that are sponsored strictly by CCAC. So go vote for your spring retreat date so that we can tell you at the end when it's going to be. I'm good.
But this is the same link as I just tried a little bit ago, right? Can't hear you.
Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with your computer, Patty. Everyone else is voting.
This is the story of my life.
But if you want to text me your vote, I'll vote on your behalf.
Okay. All right. Oh my. All right. And the while everybody's voting, please be listening because our next subcommittee is the budget committee.
So I haven't changed anything from what I sent out for final. We ended up not using any translation services for the fair. I did send the committee chair or the CCAC chairs, Linda and Troy, the Excel spreadsheet I put together for the school grants because we had a deficit of over $1,200 from what the teachers were asking for versus what we had put out there. So I haven't made a decision about what's gonna be fun, what's not. What I did was I put it in an Excel sheet that auto sums. So as people remove, it'll automatically update the calculations. So, I figured with the hopes that different schools could go and take one off or two off and let it auto sum afterwards until we get to, if everybody works together, we get to something that's a little more manageable other than the deficit that we have right now. And I'm using the full 1750. I didn't incorporate the 21. I didn't incorporate the 400 from translation services. So that would take it would take it down to a shortage of 800, a little over $800.
Okay, Eric, I'll be back in the office in mid-April. I'm actually here as a volunteer parent tonight, not as a school employee. I'm on leave. So if kind of maybe that week of like April 8th, if we can get together and sync up so that we can submit our amendment to our budget person, that would be great. So I guess Linda and Troy, if you can look at that list that Eric sent out and kind of narrow it down or help us narrow it down, that we can then go to the budget with the amendment and knock that off our plate by like April 15th-ish.
Well, and I don't know that we need, Linda and Troy to kill themselves over it either. We just have to say we're going to give the leftover funds to the families, right? So the question there is it $2,150 or are we giving the full thing? I mean, is Best Buddies using $350 or not? Or do we want to give $400 from, that we didn't use to Best Buddies?
Right.
Because we only have that one line item really.
Yeah. The grant will still have to be amended though, because depending on what was asked for, something might look like materials of instruction. Something might look like just the way that it gets budgeted out. So we're still gonna have to kind of go through those items and determine, yes, we agree that it's gonna be either $1,750 or the full 25, but we still need to look at it to make sure that our budget person can allocate it in the correct places. So it still does require a little more work.
And is Linda gonna be a wet towel?
Never been called that before, but we're recording. So maybe let's focus on the item that's on the screen. It says leftover funds for family grants. I thought we provided a spreadsheet of items for teachers.
It should be teachers. That's some, I don't know why it says family. I thought I had changed that on the form.
So what we did is had our programs provide all of the items that this group and the budget committee could select. So
Okay.
those aren't items that we're going to be ticking off and getting down to your right amount. It's now up to CCAC to determine which of those items we would fund based on the total amount. So I certainly would defer to this team and to the budget committee for discerning next steps in terms of which items to select. Since you have 1750 as a total, I would kind of scan through that spreadsheet and make a determination about what items you can provide to what locations to equal the total.
That makes sense. Is there anybody that has more insight to what would be the different programs? What would have the most impact? I mean, that's not really my world, you know, and I don't want to. I mean, for me to go through and start selecting things, it would just be kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Kara, can you pull up the spreadsheet so that everybody can see the different requests that the schools made?
I think I can. Hold on one second.
It should be, yeah, it should be. I uploaded it. It should be in the drive.
It's there. I'm just getting back there. 1 second.
And just to clarify, all of these items would really ultimately be just extra perks for the classrooms that I mean, we're able to already provide access to MOI for our programs. And so as requests have come in this school year, we have honored those and got those out due to what's going on with COVID or just classroom needs that happen every single year. So these would just be added benefits that our students would get access to. So that ultimately is up to you all about how you want to distribute.
Sorry, can you guys see this now?
Right, which is good for everybody to see. Then maybe take another look now that we know that we have to cut certain items for everybody to take a look at who's asking for what.
And it's a really comprehensive list. They put a lot of thought into it.
Sorry, it's moved over on me. Spread it out. I can resend it back out. I don't know if it would just be easier, you know, Eric, for you and team to just kind of say, okay, let's go down it. I mean, there's definitely some schools that have asked for more than others. We can just kind of, and then maybe bounce it off of, you know, Troy or Linda, just from your expertise area of like, if we had to cut something, what would go further? How many would it impact more or less? I think that's always some questions for us. Like, would it impact, you know, 20 kids or would it impact 2 kids? Or not that those 2 kids aren't as important, but different ways of doing this. And so this is the one, is this the one, Eric, that you have that shows our deficit?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's get down to the bottom where we are.
Yeah.
How many people are on the budget committee? Like, I mean, I guess I could pull that up.
There are, oops, find the notes.
You know, I mean, I came to Frederick County when my son was in Success, so I'm not familiar really with any of these different programs at all.
Well, one of the things to think about is all of the items on this list were generated by the staff in the program. Our office, our coordinators, supervisors, teacher specialists, and directors, we reviewed the list to see if they were appropriate. They all are very appropriate for the program that is listed. Again, the needed items have been provided to the schools, as Troy had indicated. So I wonder, it's very difficult to see. I think this would be a large task for this group tonight. But with that in mind, I wonder if then the budget committee could revisit this list to just highlight those items that would sum the 1750, that would have an equitable distribution, because these are perk items. They are appropriate perk items that have been reviewed thoroughly by our office. And we know that each and every one of them would be appropriate as an additional perk item for that program. So I think you have everything you need from the Office of Special Education, but when you do whittle it down to $1,750, feel free to send it back to Troy and I for our team to review one more time. We are happy to review it
Sure.
again.
How many programs are there, Linda?
So we have Challenges, our communications program. That's at elementary, middle, and high. We have Pyramid for our students who are diploma bound that struggle with social emotional learning, elementary, middle, and high. We have Learning for Life, elementary, middle, and high for functional and academic skills. We have Special Education Pre-K for our earliest learners that are in inclusive opportunities. And Rock Creek and Success. Rock Creek, we know. Success is for students who are 18 to 21 years old, ready for exit, preparing to transition in the real world.
Yeah, and one other thing to comment on too, Eric, we can probably look at this, and I don't think any of these needs are going to go away between now and the fall. So there's also the possibility that as we write our grant for next year, we could just say that overlay, whatever it is, could be moved to next year's budget. And
That
then
makes
whatever's
sense.
left from there, we then redistribute into things like workshops or whatever else we might want to do. I mean, it's certainly something we could discuss at our retreat as well. That would at least allow us to start using some of these funds immediately as soon as we put the amendment through. And then we can decide as a group at the retreat to say, do we want to roll the rest of that into our proposed next year's budget as we work through that one?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's apparent that the teachers are and the program staff really put a lot of time and energy into this.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, can I also offer another suggestion? Is if you guys decide to meet, well, you will meet if you meet, the committee meets, if you want to just pop that out to everybody and say, hey, if you're free and you want to join us, or if you have more on, information about any of these programs and how things are used or how many kids or those types of things, we could certainly open it up to if you wanted more support into the budget committee.
Sure.
Linda, I had a question too. On that chart he was just showing, so like for, there was a middle school challenges program. Would that be for one class, or in that middle school challenges, are there 3 separate classes listed there? Like elementary school, there's probably more than one class.
The original, I'm sorry, I'm chiming in for Linda because I remember the document, but the original document is a little bit different. It does have what school it's for. So like that one, you see challenges, and then that's TJ Middle School. So it would be for either their sensory room. So that means that it's providing support for multiple classrooms. So it is just for the challenges program, or depending on the number that you're buying for each classroom. It just depends on each item that you're looking at and how many.
Okay, so when it
you'll
says
see-
middle school, there's more than one class.
Correct. All of
Okay.
those, actually all of our programs have more than one classroom. So these will either go in our sensory rooms at each one of our sites, or they would be provided within the classroom, or they would be provided individually. Some of our
Okay.
classes have created individual Ziploc bagging for sensory items due to COVID. So it may just replenish those. You'll see like some of it says 16 pack, the body socks, obviously those are singular. So it
I
just
just
really
aggregated them.
item.
I aggregated them for ease of my use to try to get the math done.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready to move forward?
Yes, I think so. Hey, Jen, you want to take over? You do this part good.
All right, so the next item is the approval of the notes from the March 1st meeting, which was a postponement of our February meeting. And those were sent out. Kara sent them out. And hopefully everybody's had a chance to take a look at them, and we want to open it up for any changes, edits, altercations. Anything that needs to be altered in the document.
I do have one correction under public comment. Jen read the public comment, not me. And Kara, once you're finished with the meeting notes, this says that it says see public comment document. Where would you see that?
We should, if there were public comments, we need to actually turn it into a document and have Joanne O'Toole also send that to the group to be added to the board docs. So if there were not, like the public,
So they don't get put into the text of the notes. They're a
No.
separate.
we try to keep it as a separate document. So I'll go back and look for those. I think there were some written.
We had one.
Yes,
I believe
okay,
there
so
was
we'll go
one.
back and find that one. Create our own PDF, and that'll get loaded onto board docs.
Okay.
And I apologize, this did not get sent out as timely as it should have last time. So what's on board docs today is even a little bit rougher than this. So as soon as we clean this up, we'll send it back out. And
That's
get
the beauty
that.
of the word draft at the top.
Yeah,
That's right.
right. And so this one will now say final when it goes out, and it'll get uploaded and replace the one that's currently on there. Did anyone else see anything else that was off on this one?
Well, I did see one more thing, and that's back under the action items new, where we talked about the individual education professionals coming to speak and provide information. That was, I thought the event/retreat committee was going to take that on and talk to Marla, and nothing's written there. So
Which one? Oh, the new ones? I think it was new.
Yeah, the new, right there.
Okay. So that's where we just want to add in event/workshop. What do we call it? Workshops? Yes, and I will follow up with Marla as well. It may be something we can coordinate, with I'll just see what it looks like. I actually have asked her to send me what that presentation would look like so I can share it with the committee and determine if it's a good fit for a CCAC meeting or its own individual meeting, or if it, in general. So I will follow up with her, but yes, that's a good point. Let me event workshop committee. Will follow.
Okay.
Right, perfect.
Okay, that was all I had.
Anybody else? Any subcommittee heads, committee members? Everybody had a look? Any other changes?
Can I ask a real quick question?
Of course.
Kara, on your email for today, you had a link to update the committee plan.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, what?
Could you access that folder on the drive?
Yeah, I do. I just this is my first year, so I'm not sure. So since I'm the chair, do I do that myself? Do I do it as a committee? When do you need it by?
As long as you date it. So what I would do, I'm going to share my tab real quick so you guys can see it. This is where, real quick, before we go down that road, is there anything from the notes?
Yeah, that's good, because we do have it under as an item to talk about the subcommittee plans. So let's finish up, and if there's no other changes to the notes, I would need a motion to approve the notes from the March 1st, 2020 CCAC meeting as amended.
Okay, I can motion.
Desiree motioned. We need a second. We need
I'll
a second.
Was that you, Jen?
Teresa.
I'll
That was
second.
Teresa.
Teresa, thank you, Teresa. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So using the text box, all in favor of approving the notes from the March 1st, 2021 CCAC meeting, please place your votes in the text box. Carrie, just let me know when you hit. I assume they passed.
Majority of, and we have a quorum, a majority. God, so we're good.
Okay. Great, thanks. So the next, oh, you still have the meetings. On the agenda, the next item is the public comment document. We had discussed a little bit the last meeting about what would be put onto the document should people make a public comment and be looking for some support or resources to access. So Patty had started to develop that document. Patty, you want to talk about that one?
And give me just a second. I'm trying to pull it up.
Sure.
I can remember if I remember to get myself off mute. After we talked about it at the last meeting, I looked at it. I made some changes to it. I did put like one comment at the top saying that, you know, the list that's there of the different avenues people can go, that it wasn't listed in a particular order, that they could do it, you know.
And it was not an exhausted list. There were other.
Yes. And I did add in the people at the school, like the general ed teacher and the special ed teacher, the case manager, because it could be a different person, the school counselor, and then the administrators in the school. And I did leave CCAC on there. I left it on at the end because I didn't want them to think that, you know, they sent the information to us and we're sending this back to them and then we're done with you. You know, I wanted them to know that we're open and that we'd be able to, you know, you'd be able to come back to us if you wanted to, if you needed to. So, but yeah, that's what I did to the document. It is on the Google Drive. But yeah, that's about it.
I've also sent it out. So now we have it for 30 days and then we can vote on it. We can vote on it.
What?
Sorry, did it echo? I was saying that we've now presented it. You have it, you've given it to everybody. And so we could, in theory, vote in the April meeting to pass these, right? And if we had questions, we still have the May meeting that we could follow up on. And that gives us time before the end of the year to move these forward. Is it possible to outline the major changes? Or
we're talking about two different things here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I was talking about the response to public comment, that little document that we had. No, that's okay.
I'm multitasking, my fault.
That's okay.
Okay. Is that document's on here though? It's on I can share that one. Give me a second.
Okay. Oh, we have Troy he made a comment and Linda has her hand up.
Thank you. Good question, Troy. That's sort of where I was going. Do we have a red line version?
A red line version.
Show the changes. So first things first, public comment piece, and then it was nice to red line version of the bylaws.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I don't believe that there's a red line version. I know that there's a list in the agenda that we've been keeping on the agenda that has all of the potential changes, the things that we wanted to look at changing.
Okay, so I'm sorry. First things first, the public comment document. Where is that one, Patty? So I can.
Oh, it's on that Google Drive in CCAC somewhere.
Hold on.
And it said that, let's see, it's entitled the CCAC Public Comment Response Document.
Oh, I see it. Okay, 1 second.
Woohoo!
There we go. I love searching, the search capability in Google. Okay. Troy, you're in there too. Okay, so this is a new document that has really
Yes.
And gives us the opportunity that when someone comes to public comment, this is an example of what we will respond with and provide. Okay.
If you see, I added in the handbook, the calendar handbook too.
So if any, I'm going to share this in the link as well so that everyone can see it on your own, and you can look over it. And I'll include it in the note. Well, include it in a note for us, not for public comment notes. They don't need to be reviewed.
Okay. And I
Is
changed.
this a
the title.
document, since it's just listings, resources that are out already available for parents,
Yes.
just for assistance? Is this something that we feel that we need to vote on as an approved CCAC document?
I don't know.
We're not writing any new
No,
policy
this is,
or,
I mean, if we were sitting at the table and we were able to tell them what to do, these are the places we would be telling them to go. I just, I think we felt a year ago when we had a meeting that parents came in and they talked and they were, we didn't send them away with anything. I mean, I wanted to jump up and get some business cards for, at least to be able to give to those parents that night. But, that's why we came up with this idea.
Okay, yeah, and as you see in the first sentence, this is just in response to their providing a public comment. So we're thanking them. Here's our mission statement. It says what
so
we
yes,
do,
it's
and
just
then
to,
here's a list of other, opportunities of other people you may want to reach out to or look up to continue. We're taking it all into account because we're a committee, but here's some other resources you might be able to do locally or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And this we would send back out an email or however we get to it.
Right. And Troy, yes, it's something that would be given to anybody who provided a public comment.
I would add the school board to that list.
What do you all think? Yeah, I mean, depending on what the issue is, I would agree with Sean in there. I mean, I think last month, Jay was giving the information about the budget, and the board wants to hear, if we have concerns that specifically impact our children. So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think you could put it on there as long as you put the similar statement that the Board of Ed uses, that if there's any personal information or there's a personal concern, or individual, I should say, concern, that's not to be put to the Board of Ed, but they have that little blurb that they state.
Right. Yeah. I'll add that in.
I would add it at the end, the very last, but I mean,
Yeah.
they have that right anyways. They can shoot off an email to the school board anytime they want, but I don't know that all families know that.
Yeah, and I think this is a good, how you have it laid out as a hierarchy. Like the calendar handbook is always a great first place to start, and then go to your school, and then I feel like it's a good hierarchy of who to go to and who can help you with things. So you could maybe swap Partners for Success with OMSBUDs if you want to talk in terms of, or maybe even put OMSBUD after Office of Special Education.
See, and that's why I put that it's not listed in sequential order.
If you don't want to put it in that, you may want to put it in alphabetical order or something that, so it wouldn't allude or be perceived as that is the order to go in. Well, I mean, just a suggestion.
Sometimes it's going to depend on their the issue they bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody else besides Sean have a suggestion for a resource that's already in Frederick County that we could just list here?
Jen, I don't, but I put a comment on the document. It just probably would be a good idea not to put the page number
because it'll
of
be
the
different.
handbook. Can we mute when others are talking? I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Just because each year when the calendar handbook is published, it'll have different pages.
Sure, we can take that page number out.
You're right. You're exactly right. And the only reason why I put the page number in is because it was the only page that I could find that had anything. And it was like exactly like what I've got here, you know? So anyway. Okay.
Okay, so we can make those couple changes, add in Board of Ed and put it on the Google Docs.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, so to move on to the subcommittee plans, I was looking over and I see Best Buddies plan, I see membership, I see budget. So that would leave, and I guess Desiree, that was your concern, is the resource fair plan. So you wanted some guidance or help with that?
Well, we've made a plan before. I just saw the note saying that it needs to be updated, and I didn't know when, because when we made our last update, it was back in, oh, she wrote it, it's, yeah, October 31st. So when do I need to have the next update is what I'm asking.
Update it. We should keep it live. We should update it as often as it needs to be updated, and make sure that it is sitting on the drive. So I went through, and this is for my notes, but so I'm popping this back up. This is when everyone last updated. So I saw Jeremy actually put in an update from earlier today. Membership, you guys you may have sent it to me, and I don't know if I can find it. So if you could resend me yours.
I had to search the drive. It wasn't under the subcommittee
Okay. So
folder. It is there, but yeah, I wasn't under subcommittees. I had the same issue, Kara.
All right, so I'm just making myself a note. And just so anyone here, this is my notes document that I use. If it's highlighted, it still needs to be confirmed or fixed. So Kara will search and move. Thank you. So this is just kind of when the last ones that I found anyway were updated. And so when I send this out, if this is wrong, please let me know. And then from your perspective, Desiree, I'm going to share this screen real quick. And this is just my drive. But what you can do is just go into, it's usually a shared with me. It'll be on your shared with me file because you've been able to get to it. Or you can just search for it. So we could say, resource fair committee. Here's this whole folder here. And then what I would like, at least, as we go on, is here's the plan I think we had from 10/31. If you would then just go to it and make a copy and change the date and put any updates there with any changes, that would be fantastic. And that way we have I can understand like when it was last touched, because I think we have done some things here. We may want to wait until we have our regroup meeting and say what went well, what went different, so we can kind of keep that in there. That way it's a living document that we can go back and look at in future years. So that would be
okay.
great.
All right, thank you.
No problem. So let me, any other questions for that, Jen? Here's where kind of we were.
No, I don't think so. I didn't see the resource fair, so I guess I didn't search for that one when obviously it was in there. So
okay, and I'll add some notes from what we talked about here as well. This was just what I had pre-populated so that I had placeholders in my note document. I'll add the readouts from earlier too.
okie dokie. The next item is the bylaw amendments. The bylaws have been sent out. When we want to make an amendment to a bylaw, the committee has 30 days from the discussion of the changes of the amendment before we vote on it. So what we found last time we did amendments and changes is we would make suggestions and then you had 30 days, and then we would go to vote, and then there'd be more suggestions for more changes, and then it was 30 days. And so you can see how far that went until October of the next year before we actually finally voted on amendments and changes. So just to be able to provide enough time, I would like the committee to be able to come back in the April meeting with any changes, suggestions for amendments, ideas, so that when it's presented in April and we have 30 days to then digest those suggestions, we can hopefully vote by May, but that still gives us some time to be able to, if we had to move into October like we did the year 2 years ago when we did it, we could do that. But my hope is that if there are changes in amendments, that we would be able to discuss them in April and then vote on them in May. So that's why we keep kind of pushing that as a reminder to everybody to be looking at that document and coming up with any suggestions for that.
So just to make sure I'm clear in my notes, final suggestions come by before or on next month's meeting, or a final vote in May. Okay.
Yeah.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, you know, I just want to say that I just read the bylaws again, and down under Article 8, Section 3, it says bylaws will be reviewed every 2 years by the executive board of CCAC, and the chairperson will submit them with or without changes to general membership for review and final approval. And we have to send them to you at least 20 days before the vote. And the executive committee is all the chairperson, co-chairperson, secretary, treasurer, immediate past chairperson, and any subcommittee chairpersons.
Right. And I know I'm comfortable asking the committee for suggestions as we review with the final ones. That's what I think we had done in the past, and we were just following suit to what the prior chairs had done. So I'm comfortable asking the committee before we as a executive board say, okay, here are the changes, and then we vote. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Well, Jen, do you just want to go through the things that we've been keeping on the agenda as to, you know, what
Sure.
we were thinking of doing, you know?
What's
like
our timeline? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the first one is to split the secretary and treasurer positions, especially now since we have a great budget committee, you know, and always will. And then we have the secretary, both of them have a lot of work to do. So to have that be the job of one person might be a little tough. So that's why we were thinking about splitting it. And we would have to be putting that in the bylaws, that it would be two different members. The second one was we set additional committees, although I haven't seen anywhere in the bylaws where it limits the committees that we have. We did create a couple of committees in the last year or two, and it doesn't say that we can't, you know. So, but that's one. And then we talked about timeline changes. And didn't we do the timeline changes because last year we had a lot of difficulty with the whole getting people to realize that they can sign up for a membership kind of thing? So, because right now it says that applications have to be completed by May 15th. We'd have to start advertising that now, you know, like we were talking about earlier. So, and the next one was protocol for public comment. All that we have in there is about that we would have public comment, but talking about the document that would be sent afterwards, and I don't know, there were a couple other things.
Patty, I think that part of the timeline changes were discussing when the positions change. So when the chair's
that too,
positions
yes.
change, as well as the secretary, hopefully two different people at that point, secretary and treasurer, and how those changes take place so that the whole executive board is not replaced at the same exact time, leaving
Right.
people without somebody who's done it the year before.
Right. That's timeline up here too. Okay. And then vote affirmation for new members.
We don't currently have that. We learned that that's what we've always done. Again, that's what the committee has done. When they are the new members, we vote them in. It's not in the bylaws. So we're discussing adding that in as a bylaw.
Okay. And then the last one was a new member acceptance formal notification should include a CCAC document package, including the bylaws, the mission statements, and the group norms. So, because there's none of that in there, but I think it should be.
And I see Shauna shaking her head, nodding her head rather, also that she.
Yeah, I think that was her
something.
idea.
Yeah.
We'll give her that one.
So just so everybody knows kind of what has already been thought of or suggestions that have been made. So those are kind of where we are. And then if you see the need for further suggestions, I would be happy to hear them. Again, not if you don't have any right now, it would be for the April. Will be up as a discussion for the April meeting.
I just have a quick question for clarifications because we do have new members. So the way it's currently written is that anybody right now could submit to you all any amendments. And then when you preview it in April, you all would have 20 days so you could vote on it in May. So if you all clean that up, they can see the draft that everyone puts together in April, just for the way that I'm reading it.
Right. And then if April, though, there were more discussions, that's what I was afraid of, then that would push us further back. But yes, so if I wasn't clear, sorry, yes. Have those suggestions and be able to present them April. Okay, any other discussion with that? We'll move on to the action items that are pending. And the first is the CCAC retreat / events committee. Update on the CCAC virtual resource fair, which week? Well, Kara and Desiree, or did you want to it? I'm seeing it now. You talked about all of this really, right? In your report, right?
Yeah, I would. You can leave that one on there. As maybe, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Desiree. I was just going to say
I'm not on this committee.
Item, but I think once we can get some, I'd like to get some more of that data based on like views and that type of thing, just so we can share that with you all, and we can include it in our committee plan and share that again next month, if that's okay.
Sure.
Is that okay with you, Desiree? You're the chairperson.
I'm not the chairperson of this committee.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, that's me. So yes, sorry.
I saw the item as the resource fair, so the virtual resource fair. So I think I was also connecting them in my brain as well.
So we did have a committee for virtual resale fair, but in general, yes, we'll update it. We'll put it there. And if you want me to just keep going down the list, I think we talked about a lot of this already.
Yeah, I think you did too.
Voting, and as of just, I can talk about it right now. I'm going to hit refresh one more time. I think it's speak now or forever hold your peace, but I think everyone has voted, or at least most people have. We have. Just double check. All right, so it looks like Monday, May 17th from 5 to 8 is where the majority want
I
to.
think that was also just a regular Monday for us to
It
meet,
was,
right?
yeah.
That
I mean,
seemed to make sense.
Yeah, I thought we'd throw in a couple of different days just to see, but I assumed most were going to choose this. We ended up with 3 votes for Sunday, 10 votes for Monday, and 5 votes for Thursday. So just so you guys kind of knew where that fell out. And you were obviously allowed to vote more than once if any of those days worked. But yes, the Monday meeting is when it's not our normal May meeting. So it is an extra Monday in the month of May. I'll go ahead and secure that space for the Utica Park Shelter. Hopefully, more than likely, the weather will be good in mid-May. But dress for the weather is what I would say. And the committee and I will get back together and start sharing a little more details by the next meeting. And Jen
Sounds
and
good.
Patty, we will coordinate with you as well. And then, this was Stephanie Knack. So I spoke about this a little bit earlier too.
Yeah.
Coordinating with Stephanie to determine when and what this exactly will look like. And then I think the last thing you guys wanted to do here was just look at my membership list. I think everything has now been updated, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. There's 2 tabs, and you guys have access to this, by the way, but the committee list is the total committee list. And then I also have subcommittees and attendance, and I think I have it all updated now. So this is my total committee list that I'm also going to share with the membership team. This is the master, so to speak. So I have not taken Ray Gallagher or Gemma off of this one yet, but I did note when they resigned or ended their membership, if you can see that. It's in a darker red. And then I'll change the colors, but then the lighter red are those who are coming up to the end of their term. So I do have all of the new members, and as soon as I get in touch with our other member that we are inviting, I will add her to this list as well. But Jay is now on here, Troy is on here, and those that have resigned or ended their term have been noted as such, and same for the attendance tabs.
Awesome. Thank you.
If anyone sees anything else that looks a little wonky, let me know, but I believe it's all updated now.
Kara, what is your thought on leaving Ray and the other member who resigned? What is the purpose of leaving them versus deleting them?
Really just for history, just for knowing that was there. I mean, I would have taken them. I will take them off before next year's. This is our CCAC member list. But I just thought it was an interesting way of just keeping track of
Just have record that they were on the
Yeah.
committee at some
So
point.
right now, this one's listed as 2021, and they were members for part of this year. It'll just make their term. And then when I redo this one for 21-22, obviously they would come off of that one and go forward, but really just for a history record. If I can highlight them differently or something just to kind of call it out, if that makes sense.
Is there a way of maybe drawing a line through them or something?
Yes, I think, yeah, absolutely. It's a good idea.
Maybe that would be the best way to do it if you're comfortable doing that. I don't want to mess with your records, but I just want them to be clean, if you know what I mean.
No, that makes great sense. So I believe, there we go. I'm sorry, you're seeing this, right? Okay. And Gemma was the other one. And then for next year, of course, it'll get cleaned up even more because they'll come off the list. But that's good. There we go.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And I'll do the same on the attendance tab.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I don't see any in the list.
All right.
So we don't have any other new action items, but just to kind of recap where we are.
Actually, I do. I got one.
So
I have
sorry.
one little
My
thing.
apologies, Patty.
No, that's okay because it just happened. I went to the Maryland CSAC meeting, and it has all of the CCAC co-chairs or chairs from all over the state that come, and it was a virtual event. But one thing that you all will be very excited to know is that Maryland State's come out with a new tab, a technical assistance bulletin, and it is all about CCAC. And I did put it up on the Google Drive, so it's there for everybody to look at. Can you? Is there any way you can bring that up, Kara? You should. I think I put it in the right place. God knows. I have Google Drive anxiety.
Me too, Patty.
I look at that, everybody. It's beautiful. And they were
but I'll put it somewhere easy to find.
oh, okay. It was they were very excited about it. I was really excited to see it. So I think this is a really good document. So and let's see what else. We already talked about they talked about no state testing in the spring, and that they were going to be doing short and diagnostic testing in the fall. And they talked about the new parental handbook. That's how I found out about it. And they are developing or enhancing family resources in Maryland Learning Links, like an IEP process resource for families. And they're really looking to build the special education information that's available to the public. And we split out into 3 little breakout sessions. One was about just guidance for CCAC groups. Another one was secondary transition. And the third one was family-friendly IEP input. And I went to the one that was on guidance. And what they're going to be offering is online training for the Open Meetings Act, and which would mean talking about public comment. And one really interesting thing that was said was that PG County, when they do their public comment, they turn off the recording. So, not saying we should do that. I just wanted to let you know that they do that. They came out with a very large document that's available on the Maryland Department of Education. It's a secondary transition planning guide for individuals with disabilities. And it's very, very big. So that's why I didn't send it to everybody. But it was a really interesting meeting. I enjoyed being there. It was good. Learned a lot. So that's it for me.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, this document I looked over also. It's good for answer a lot of questions that people may have about CCAC, and they've put it in a nice compressed document. So we don't have any other new action items, but just to kind of recap, just so I am hearing everything correctly, we move forward. Resource Fair is going to update their subcommittee plan. The budget committee is going to meet to try to make those decisions about how we're spending the rest of that money with making those cuts, and you're going to put that out for everybody to have the date, and they can come if they want to. And the events committee is going to look into, sounds like 3 or maybe 4 good presentations or workshops for us. And then you guys will just continue to give us suggestions or ideas for any amendments for the bylaws so that they can be presented at the April meeting. If I'm missing anything, please feel free to chime in. Other than that, we have our next meeting, which will be April 26th.
One thing, does everybody expect a red line bylaws document at the next meeting? I'm seeing a nod from Dr. Chambers.
I think it would be just a nice idea to help conceptualize visually for this team, if possible.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're thinking that the meetings are going to continue to stay virtual through the rest of the year. Nodding yes. Okay.
Other than our retreat, right? And that's not public. Okay.
Right. I was just curious if we were going to move as a county back into Okay, so if we see no other new items, we would just need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And then we need a
And
second.
I will second it.
Go ahead and type your vote. And we will see everybody in April or at the budget.
I need 2 more votes. Okay, anyway, we're good now. Okay. Thank you. We are adjourning at 7:17. Someone wrote, it is a record. You're correct.
You guys enjoy the nice weather. Hopefully you have a nice week.
Yeah, have a great week, guys.